Hi, I'm Sandy Zuniga, the founder of Colorado Springs Town Tidings. Be in the know on the go for all things Colorado Springs, delivered right to your inbox. And today, in our local business spotlight, we're meeting a true community connector. Her business model is simple. She has stated in the past, with this business, she won't get rich. But what's most important is that she will make a community richer, our community richer, by lifting up the local nonprofits that do so much for us. She's the founder of her new World of Hearts LLC, and she's already planning her first big fundraising event. Let me introduce you to Melissa Gorsuch, but her friends call her Mel. Welcome, Mel.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing really well.
Great. So let's go ahead and get a little background on you. Where did you grow up? Kind of, your family, work, and let's kind of go from there.
All right. Well, I was born and raised in Vegas, so everyone thinks, "Oh, glamour," because it is a touristy town. But my whole family lives there. So I have aunts, uncles, cousins, brother, nieces, everybody lives pretty much in Vegas.
Oh,
Yeah, and I've been in the restaurant. I started off in retail when I was young,
okay.
and that was my first job. And then I went from there into bartending, serving, restaurant business for over 30 years.
Was that in Vegas?
Everywhere I've lived, that's all
Okay.
I've done most of my life.
Well, it's definitely transferable.
Yes, yes, you can find a job anywhere.
Yes. So, okay, that leads us into where have you been?
I moved to Texas for about a year. I actually, in my earlier years, about 25, I lived here in Colorado Springs.
Okay.
Um, and then recently, I've only been back to Colorado Springs for the last 4 years. And I was in Pittsburgh where I actually met my husband online, and I was living in Vegas and he was in Pittsburgh. And I moved to Pittsburgh for, I think it was about 7, 8 years till we
Okay.
moved here. So
Did you get married? How long before you met online and then moved there did you get married?
So we met in 2015. I moved that November of 2015 to Pittsburgh,
Okay.
and we got engaged in 2016 and we got married January of 2017.
Okay. So that was it was enough time. I mean, you weren't, kids, so
Right.
great.
It's still a lot even when you're not a kid.
Oh, absolutely. Yep, definitely. Um, but as far as the time wise, you didn't need years to kind of, you either knew or you didn't, I'm assuming.
Right. Right.
Great. And then after Pittsburgh, what made you guys come to Colorado Springs, or were there other stops in between?
No, actually, we came out, let's see, probably 2019 or something like that. And he has a cousin that lives in Castle Rock. And so we came out just to check it out because we were like, oh, let's think where we want to move after the youngest graduated from high school. And he loved it here. He just fell in love, the mountains, all the things to do. We like to be outdoors, we like to hike. So he was like, "This is it. I want to be here." And I'm like, "Are you sure? You don't want to check out Montana? You don't want to check out, anywhere else?" And he's like, "No, I'm good." I'm like, "Okay." So it was 2020 when we moved.
Okay. And you decided on Colorado Springs instead of Castle Rock or Denver
Yeah,
area?
yeah, just kind of looking around. And I mean, I lived here, like I said, I was in the Springs many years ago, and I apologize. I moved here in 2021.
Okay.
But yeah, we love the town, and there is so much to do here. So
Absolutely.
we just said, let's go to the Springs.
Yep, and it's smaller than Denver, so you have a more of a hometown vibe, I think. And since you're already there, you're probably like, I already know this. Let's check this one out.
Yes, yes, that was exactly it. And I was never a big fan of Denver. I mean, I come from Vegas, it's a big city, you know. And I like the smaller knit communities. I like smaller towns. I don't think I could live in Cripple Creek, but I could definitely. But
Well,
this is
hey,
good. This is good.
Woodland Park about 15 years ago or so got the Walmart. So,
Yeah.
that was a big thing.
And if I remember right, they didn't really want it at first, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they made it where it kind of blends in a little bit, but that's really it's helpful, definitely. For
Because
sure.
there's not much else up there. And when you get snowed in up there, you're done.
Right. And so Cripple Creek probably wouldn't be the best for you.
No.
It's good to
I
visit and then go back home.
yes. I need a little city and Colorado Spring, honestly, it offers me all that. So
Right.
yeah.
I feel like it's got the perfect blend of population to smaller town feel. And, although it is growing, it still has that good blend.
Mhm. I agree.
Yeah,
All the mom and pop places around here are just amazing.
right. So then you went ahead and when you moved here, did you bartend again?
I did actually. I worked for it was so Frankie's, the original Austin
Yes.
Powers.
Yeah,
I
with
worked
Renee, we did
when
her
I first
spotlight.
lived here. Yeah. So the Country Club of Powers. I originally worked for him, but it was at his second location out in Falcon, Frankie's too.
Yeah,
I worked there many years ago. I was one of the first employees to work there when they opened, and they welcomed me right back when I moved. So I went back to work for him for a little while, and then he sold.
right.
He finally got out of the bar business after I believe it was 40 years. So,
Right. Yep.
that's amazing. And yeah, so I stayed with him for a while, and then I worked at Murray Street Darts, and then I jumped into kind of my own thing.
Right. I was going to ask you. I know then, and also you had a connection with your mother-in-law. Did she move out here with you guys?
No.
Okay.
She was born and raised in Pittsburgh. So, well, outside of Pittsburgh, but no, actually, I'm sorry. She lived in Pittsburgh, kind of older Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So it's hard to explain if you don't know the area.
Right. Right.
But yeah, so she was there, and actually they still lived in the house that they bought together, her and my father-in-law. He passed before I ever met him. That was many years ago. And so, it's just my husband, his sister, and she stayed, but yeah, it was just us coming out here. The kids are all grown, so
Okay. So you had that instant connection with her, I believe.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, we did. She just was so welcoming. I mean, from the time I got there, which was crazy, we ended up arriving, I think it was like 10 o'clock at night there. And walked right in her door, and she just was like, "Oh, it's so nice to meet you," and she just was so amazing, with the way she welcomed people, the way she made you feel right at home. And she was a retired school teacher and just loved the arts, loved going to, art galleries and doing all the plays in town. So we really did hit it off right off the bat.
Great. Did she ever come to visit you?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
So we moved here in 21, and February of 22, I actually moved back there.
Oh, okay.
Just myself.
Okay.
I took me and my dog, and my husband stayed here to work and take care of all the things because he landed such a great job. It was his like dream job pretty much. And she had fallen a few times. She was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and things just were kind of going a little further down. And so I went back out there to just help and see what I could do, because it was my sister-in-law back there. And so just trying to see how we could help out, what we need to do to get her to progressively get, I don't want to say better because we all know
Right.
Parkinson's are not going to, but just to kind of see what we needed to do. And unfortunately, she had a fall that ended up putting a brain bleed.
Oh,
Um, and she passed in May of 22.
okay.
So,
Sorry about that.
thank you.
Um, and the reason why I bring it up is because you started, is it a franchise, 31
So
Consultants?
no, I was an independent consultant for them. So it was a
Okay.
direct sales company. They had been around for over 20 years. And I during that time, I had signed up with them because there was a deal. As we all know with direct sales company, there's always some kind of deal. And it was funny. I had known about the company for years and years and years. And I was like, oh, I don't need those bags. I like my own style, that kind of thing. Turned out I was so wrong in my life. I needed so many of those bags, but
I don't
I
even know what
had,
it is.
oh, okay. So 31 was all about organization. Everything you ever use, they have purses, and I can actually show you. So
Oh,
this was one of them.
okay.
And luckily, before they closed, I actually put my new business logo on my purse.
Nice.
But yeah, so it's storage totes, it's little zipper bags that you can use for all around the house, like just everything.
Okay.
And it was amazing. And it actually worked out because I didn't end up bartending past a couple weeks of being back in Pittsburgh with my mother-in-law. And so it was a business I could do at home.
Right.
And so she would yell at me from the living room, are you working in there? What are you getting done? And we kind of did the business together. So it really meant a lot to me. And it just drove me to do so much. And then I really loved it. And I learned so much about myself, about business, about relationships, about who I was and where I wanted to go in life and what I wanted to do. And honestly, how strong I really was to market myself,
Right.
because that wasn't something I did. I mean, people walk into a bar. What
Right.
really do I have to market? I just have to say, hey, come see me. I'm bartending, and make you a cocktail.
But you have those relationships, so
Yeah. And so I really learned a lot. So I stuck with it. And unfortunately, they closed their doors in December
of
um,
22?
24.
Oh,
So I was
24.
with them for 3 years, just a little over 3 years. And then they closed their doors in December of 24. That left me thinking, what do I do now?
Right. Well, I know you said that losing 31, that business was kind of like losing your mother-in-law all over because she was a key inspiration and
Yes.
how close. So I was wondering, how did you transform that feeling of profound loss into the foundation for World of Hearts?
So she, like I said, from get go, she was a big part of, she just gave so much. Even when she was a school teacher, the things I found that I didn't know, she didn't talk about all the awards she got, all the things. And I didn't always live the best in my life. There was a lot of, trials and tribulations and just things I had to overcome. But because people were there to help me along the way, and people like my mother in law that just gave with their whole heart, I've always given back after I got on my feet, after I got my life together, after things just, I grew. Um, so when I lost the business, at first I thought, oh, I'm good, I'm good, I'll be fine. And then after Christmas time, I was like, I'm not fine. And I realized finally it was because she worked the business with me. It meant so much to really grow my business. So, what that turned into was I had started World of Hearts, but I had no major idea of what to do or how to do it. Well, when I lost the business and I thought about all the reasons and I thought about her. And then I started thinking about all the other people along the way that helped me. It turned into the name World of Hearts. She was a world traveler.
Okay.
She traveled all 7 continents. Some of those trips she went by herself. Um, and she did all the things, which is, pretty impressive, what she's done and where she stayed and what she's eaten. So World of Hearts came about and people were like, well, what's your logo going to be? And what are you going to do? And I'm like, oh my gosh, these are so many things that I don't know what to do. So sat back and really thought about it, talked about her, talked about all the things. And World of Hearts is something that eventually I will get to the world and get to do all these things. But my sister-in-law had called her kind of the dinosaur of the family. It was
Uh-huh.
always the joke because she was the oldest and out of all our cousins and everything. So I actually did a dinosaur as my logo.
Nice.
So it's a cute little dinosaur. It's a brontosaurus. It has a purple heart. Towards the last few years, she loved the color purple and she actually had purple hair.
Okay. So do you
Yeah,
today.
I do. um, our wedding colors were purple, silver, black, and so I actually had purple hair when we got married, and yeah,
Oh,
so
fun.
yeah, so my logo really just kind of it's the heart of everyone, people that love to give, people that love to support, um, and I'm the same way. I would give someone my last dollar and figure out how to get that dollar back. Because it's all about giving, it's all about pouring your heart out there.
Right.
And she was a big part of it. So she really has a lot to do with my logo and I guess just the inspiration behind why I really felt so passionate about doing it all.
Right. Okay. Wow. So with your 30-year career of bartending, I'm wondering what was the pivotal specific moment or interaction that made you decide to pivot from serving drinks to serving the community on such a massive scale? And was it when you went back to Pittsburgh and now you needed a different type of business that you could do at home with her?
Um, I actually would still bartend today if someone called me and said, "You want to come sling drinks real quick?" Absolutely. I don't think that'll ever go away. It was truly my passion from the moment I watched the movie Cocktail. And I know that sounds really funny and it's a weird inspiration as to why I became a bartender.
Not really. It's,
But
those shape us are the movies and the things that we kind of grew up in. Plus, you were a Vegas girl. I mean,
I,
come on, cocktail was, definitely in the cards for you.
yeah, and I love obviously talking to people and listening to stories. I love hearing the stories of other people. And that was huge with bartending. You heard so many. But
Right.
I actually would have kept with it. It just my body said otherwise. Being around for over 30 years and on the hard floors, the body took a little bit of a toll. Definitely after everything with my mother-in-law, I needed to step back. And then I really dove into 31 and things were going great. It wasn't until I lost 31 that I was like, now what? Now it was time, even though I had said, okay, I'm going to do World of Hearts. How do I give on a bigger scale? That's what I had to figure out what I'm going to do on a bigger scale. And I just said, I had a couple people in my corner
Right.
that one of them was like, okay, what are we doing? And okay, do this and start doing all the things. So I let it slip a little here and there, but I really dove in the last few weeks to month. And I'm like, okay, I got to make my list. I got to figure out. And I just got to I got to do what I set out to do. And it means a lot to me to know that there's so many people out there that I'm truly lucky to have as friends and support. my husband big time supports everything that I do or want to do. So, my family, everybody really is like, okay, what do you need? Do you need a silent auction item? And the amount of community has been great. So
Yeah, it is. And in general, you're great. I know I've had experiences with you where you were helping your friends and nonprofits, and I was doing a lunch and learn, and we were connected a different way too, but I didn't realize you were actually like going to the lunch and learn on purpose, like you go to them all the time. So I was invited in, and I remember kind of doing a little like, oh, I'm nervous because of the venue and all that stuff. And you're like, I'm going early. I got your back. And I'm like, I didn't really know you at that time, whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh, Mel is just an amazing human being and really took the stress off of me of being the speaker, which was only my second time doing a speaking gig. So, and I met you at my first speaking gig. So I was like, oh, wait, but you were connected that way. And, at that point, we were just in passing, but you gave me the Wi-Fi password, all that stuff. And then on the second one, it was just like, wow, you were there earlier. We talked about a few things and you had it set. And I was just like, I couldn't thank you enough. So I can only imagine, all the amazing things you're doing for others and the nonprofits and stuff. Just that little bit of kindness you showed me really touched me. And, I'm so grateful that our paths have crossed. And so I have had a personal
oh,
experience, with you. So thank you for that.
well, thank you for that. I, I don't know, if I can do it, I do it. I don't ever want to say no. Kind of like our friend Jean. I'll say yes to just about anything. And I do. There's been so many people in my life that have helped every inch of my being here.
Right.
So I never really want to say no to people if I can.
Right. Yeah. If we can. And also make sure we continue to take care of ourselves as well so we can take care of others.
Good luck
That's
with
always
that
the
one.
same. I know, kettle, it's pot.
Yeah, pretty
I know
much.
what color you are.
Yep. I'm the sludge that is left in the coffee pot. So, yes, I
I,
know it's really hard. I mean, it's really hard to say no.
yes,
And people are always like, "Mel, you need that." And I'm like, "I know, but it's my existence. I feel that that's what I'm here for. Even with bartending, I used to work doubles or, open to closes. It didn't matter. I was always there because I loved it. I
right.
just loved it.
Well, with World of Hearts, do you feel like you said that was your existence? Do you feel like that's where your value is with helping people?
Um, I don't know. I don't really look at because I don't want to say I don't get value or I don't anything. I don't look for anything. I just know that if someone's in need, I have to help in a way, whatever way I can. And whether that's helping somebody just set up and take some stress off, if that's someone needs to call me at 2 in the morning and be like, oh my gosh, I just needed to talk. I don't know. I just know that I'm there. I'm there if I can be.
So you're still just trying to figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, I don't look, I don't go to everybody and be like, hey, you okay? Yeah, I'm always there. And I want to be true to my word. If I say I'm going to be there, if I say, please call me anytime, that means a lot to me. To be 100% with people. What I say is what I'm going to do. Obviously, there are times where maybe I can't because of something, but
Right,
no, I want people to know that I'm making myself accountable to
right,
everything I say. And that's hard to trust people, you
right.
know?
Yep. I I'm a big proponent of responsibility and trust and making sure that your word is everything. And, life happens. So, as long as it's not malicious,
Yeah.
you're saying something, but you do your best and then life happens. But in general, you know that you're a person of integrity. And if you say that, you're going to do everything you can to make sure that whatever you said is going to happen.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel that I'm in the same boat there. And so your personal story includes overcoming homelessness and abuse, which you've said you survived because of help from others. You just let us know that. How do you think these personal experiences directly shape how you choose which nonprofits to advocate for?
I don't choose.
Okay.
I really don't. I mean, some obviously, like Lotus Foundation, they help with abuse, sex trafficking victims, all that kind of thing. And of course, that touches me big time because, I was abused in relationships, and you don't always have a way out, nor can you always find the resources yourself. It takes a lot. So yes, that one probably touches me a little more. I love animals. I have a dog. I've had two dogs, and dogs growing up, and so I love animals. So I will help any animal rescue, any animal shelter. I've volunteered. Like, I love to do all the things, but there's not one per se nonprofit that I would like to help. Truly, I just want to be a resource for everyone. If you need, right now, I did a wine fundraiser last night, never done one before, didn't know you could do that, didn't know there were companies like that. For Ginger Snap Rescue Ranch. The link will close on Monday, so but they get 10% of all the sales that people purchase wine. Um, but yeah, I don't want to limit, because I found with 31, I was doing a lot of fundraising, trying to, you know, um, fill a tote type stuff, or who needs a fundraiser, who needs a gift basket for a fundraiser, those kinds of things. And I just found that there's so many out here that people have no clue about.
Right.
And what they do, they need to get their name out there, they need to get their why out there, they need to get what they're even looking for. Some of them aren't even looking for cash donations, they're looking for volunteers, they're looking for just I mean clothing and food and these things. So I don't want to pick. I just want to say it's free to put your logo on my website. It's free advertising. It's free just getting you out there, even with the nonprofit, even for my fundraisers. It's just free for them. I do want to get a couple sponsorships, um, which I did get a couple. I have a couple right now.
Good for
And
you.
yeah, it's exciting. So but I want that to pay for all their booths all the time if I have a fundraiser, that kind of thing. I never want them to have to pay for anything to get out there.
Okay. Well, now you have a good resource because every other Saturday, Colorado Springs Town Tidings does a nonprofit spotlight. So, and I always look for those small ones that aren't on the news, aren't, nobody knows about, but they are working so hard and they've got so much passion and they need the word to get out. So I will do a spotlight and, do everything. So make sure that you loop me in, and I'm more
Yeah.
than happy to go ahead and do that as well. It means just like businesses that I spotlight, it's the mom and pops. It's the smaller ones that aren't getting the bigger attention and need it. And we all support each other. So, for those, now you have another resource,
Awesome.
get them in there. And, I agree on that too. So, and my heart is big too. or, what can we do? And then you get my crazy brain on it and forget it.
And then everything like just happens.
Yeah, then I can't stop thinking about it. So how do you go ahead and, uh, you know, how do you make a living, or how will you? I know you're just starting, so you're trying to do it. So sponsorships for the
Yep.
business, and then how else? Or are you just
Well,
still figuring that out?
no, so because this is just my passion, I never want to profit that much from it. I know what it takes to help nonprofits. I know what they go through. I've seen it. I've been around enough of them volunteering to just know that they need every penny possible. So, all the sponsorships will basically, like my event in September. If I have, say, $3,000, that's going to pay for everything through that. It'll get all the stuff that we need for the event space. And, because obviously event spaces, people have to charge you. A lot of people don't have that kind of room and things like that. So it'll take care of that coverage, and then it'll also get dispersed to them. I'll make a little bit for my time, but other than that, I'm not going to make much. So my day job, as we say, is another avenue of helping the community. And you and I have talked about this on a front as well. It's called Be Rewarded. I am out helping local mom and pop businesses get on our platform, which is kind of a one-stop shop for all businesses to be on. And you can throw out your discounts, your coupons, and all the things and market to the community that you want to stop in your store. So it connects community to your storefront.
Right. That's
So
great.
that's how I make my day to day.
Okay, at least that's how you're making that. And at some point, hopefully we'll go ahead and do an interview for Be Rewarded as well and kind of get that out there too.
Yeah.
So now you said you'll never get rich doing this, the World of Hearts, but in a culture often focused on profit, what does a truly successful day look like for you when money isn't the measure of success for World of Hearts?
Mm. Um, for me, it's getting a new nonprofit to go on my website so that they have another resource. And my small wins are getting another sponsorship to help in the cost. I mean, hey, if I won the lottery, I wouldn't need sponsorships.
I
So,
hear you.
yeah, yeah. So really, I win daily. I get to talk about what I do. I get to work from home and go have coffees with people and talk about what my plan is, what my ultimate goal is. And so really it's getting new nonprofits, and people are happy to share who they currently work with, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's free to go on your website." Okay, great. And I say, "Yeah, just send me your logo," and I attach the link to it, because really even on my website, I don't want to take the funding. I don't want to have to do with the payment options. I don't want to have to deal with all that, because I believe, again, that because also so many companies take a percentage, and then they're taking a percentage here, where the nonprofit, if you click on their logo on my website, it takes you right to their website, and they have all the donation stuff
Right.
through that, because most payment systems for nonprofits won't charge as much as they will an actual business. So for the most part, yeah, I just I just want to be a resource and help talk about them. So that's my wins. Those are a good day. That's always a good day.
Right. And even though you help nonprofits, World of Hearts is not a nonprofit. First of all, it's a pain in the butt. All the red tape and paperwork and everything to try and do a nonprofit. So there's no judgment. It's not, anything, but I just wanted to, make sure that so it's you're focused on nonprofits, but
Yeah.
yours isn't. So if somebody gives you, money, donation, whatever, it's not a tax deduction or something like that. And that's why
No.
you give them the link to the
Yes.
nonprofit so they can go directly.
Yes. So like this sponsorship, what most people are giving me the sponsorships for right now is to help pay for the event space, pay for any marketing, pay for anything that I need to get done for this event.
Mhm.
And like I said, that's pretty much it. That's what I'm asking for sponsorships for. And then letting them know, hey, if there's a specific nonprofit you want to get on the platform, let's do it. If there's a specific one that they want to sponsor to, great, go to my website, click on their link.
Right.
So really the sponsorships for me is it's advertisement for the sponsorships as well, because I advertise them everywhere. But it's really just to help pay for whatever event, and then the leftovers I split up with the nonprofits, or buy the things that need the help.
Right. So what does it look like to work with you if a nonprofit, I don't know, comes to your website? What what is it other than putting their logo on and stuff? Do they get a piece of you kind of, are you working with them as far as like volunteering? I'm sure if you can, but there's only so much mail that can go around. So, you can't, but I know you want to help everybody. So, say five nonprofits came to you, what would it look like to work with you?
So to work with me, like Ginger Snap Ranch, I definitely, took a bunch of pictures the other day when I got to go out there, and oh my gosh, those animals. The one goat that jumped the fence to come say hi.
Oh
I
my
was like,
goodness.
"Oh, I don't think you're supposed to be out here."
I actually wanted to get them and I've contacted them and I think there may have been one, but then they kind of went silent. But that was one I have been looking at that I'm more than happy to put in the fold.
She is definitely busy. It is very, and she does so many events. So she gets in a lot of vendor events around town. But really, what I did was I took a bunch of pictures of the animals. Um, and I just said, so my idea is to host small events like I did last night, the wine. Do something like that, or one day go out to her ranch and just say, hey, we're offering free 4 cups of feeding stuff to go feed the animals, but try and get the social media aspect, post about them, get them everywhere. I would love to volunteer my time as soon as I can, maybe take an entire day and post one day once I get all this figured out. um I would like to take a day and go work with all the nonprofits. I know Lotus Foundation is looking for volunteers. Unfortunately, it's days that I'm already booked. But
Right.
what I do for them is I know do, they take clothing, they take gift cards to help those, who's in their program, whether they're going on job hunts, all those kinds of things. So anything in your house that you're getting rid of, to work with me, I kind of ask, what do you guys need, or what are you looking for? And that's another option that when I'm in a group of people, I tell them, I'm like, oh, hey, if you're donating clothes, I've got some nonprofits for you instead of taking it to Goodwill and, all those things, because we all know it's really hard to know where to take all your stuff,
Right. Yeah.
or who even picks up, stuff. So really it's just finding out from them what they need. And then I try to help in every way possible. So at all the networking things, I try to, I've worked with Tessa where I donated a bunch of little, again, they told me these are what our women usually come in with, and they don't have a razor, they don't even have a toothbrush sometimes when they walk through their doors.
Right.
So I created a couple years ago, they told me I think they needed about 15 little gift baskets. So I got a little tote so they could carry it to whatever their future was.
Right.
But I packed it with all the things, a pair of socks, a toothbrush, all the necessities you would need on a daily basis. and a couple gift cards from our local restaurants that donated, like Lazy Dog donated some gift cards to us, and Schlotsky's has donated some gift cards to go, have some sandwiches.
Right.
And it's just amazing how many communities, if you ask, they will provide you with something.
Nice.
So,
So basically, working with you would be five of them come to you and you say, okay, let's have a little consultation. Let me find out what your real needs are. And then you make a plan. Okay. You may not be able to fulfill them all, but things that you could or that you can help with, you take that and say, okay, I got this part. We'll work on the other part another time, but right now this is what I can do and this is where my mind is going. Would this help? And then you
yep,
go from there.
yep, pretty
Good
much.
assessment.
And yeah, and like I said, I mean, the event in September, I'm going to cap it at 10 nonprofits that can be there, just to give them enough time to talk about their, foundations, and that way everybody can kind of benefit from it. And we'll just keep doing those small little fundraisers throughout the year. And so marketing them and getting them out there it's just, yeah, it's constant. What do you need and how can I help?
Right. Great. So then your first big fundraiser, because you're doing the little ones, like you did the wine one that you didn't know, but it's like,
Yeah.
okay, here you go. You learn something, or we all learn something every day. So your first big fundraiser combines whirly ball. I can't
Yes.
say it.
Say
And
that 3 times fast.
exactly, whirly ball. I see. I can't even do it. Whirly ball and superheroes. So, how does this fun first approach help break down barriers to get people engaged with otherwise very serious community needs?
Um, I always think there has to be some kind of fun aspect in fundraising. I mean, there's a reason the word fun's in there. You have to, people want to have fun. I always go back to my bartending days. I helped a million times with fundraising through there, hosting fundraisers, having fun in the bars. So it's the same thing. If you're not having fun, why are you spending your money? Why are you doing these things? Why are you there? Um, and so I think the fun aspect is, one, it's a casino night. So you're going to be getting to gamble and help, raise funds for the nonprofits. The superhero aspect, you will be donating to them personally, because again, they're kind of like me. They do it for fun. They don't do it to make $1 million. But I was like, well, if you guys want to come by, why don't we make it fun for you too, And so you can donate to the superheroes that are coming, which I say are Deadpool because it's Jeet's pool. And then
Okay.
there's That Man, which is Batman.
Right,
So
right. They got trademarks, so we know all about
exactly,
that.
exactly. They are trademarked. So, but each nonprofit is going to have fun and they're going to be included on the fun. So they get to talk about their foundation. If they have items to sell, they can sell them right off their table that night. And they will, for everyone that wants to gamble a little more all night long, they have to go pick one of the nonprofits and purchase the poker chips from them. So we're fundraising, we're having a good time. Whirly ball, we get an hour of games. So you get to go play whirly ball. You can go bowling, you can go do ping pong, you can go do all the things. And they will be open to the general public that night. So we actually have some fun things that the general public, if they want to jump in on the fun and donate, they can. They can.
So when is this?
September 13th. It's a Saturday at 7 p.m. And we'll go till about 10. And yeah, like I said, the general public can come. They won't be in the private room, but they will have a way to enjoy the superheroes. They'll have a way to um, help donate to all the causes if they want to.
Okay, and
And
we'll
they
make
cannot even come down and get their faces painted.
okay.
I believe Metamorphosis is coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of fun things going on.
So they bring the kids, and do the kids have a place of their own? So then the parents can go ahead and mingle, or is it just everybody together?
So for the general public, they can have their kids, but they won't be allowed in the private room. So this is going to be a ticketed event. The tickets will be $75, and what that includes is you get your drink ticket, you get your first few hundred in poker chips to go gamble, and you get there will be snacks and everything. So that part is private as far as the casino night.
Okay.
But the whirly ball part and everything else, like we'll have a designated lane, we'll have a designated hour for the games for just our fundraising group, but the general public can come and go, and if they want to participate, then they can donate through that.
Okay, great. And we will go ahead and cover that more as the time gets closer. So make sure that we're connected and you go,
Yes.
Sandy, don't forget.
So it's a good thing I have a lot of tech people in my world because I do not know how to get these tickets done yet. That's why they're not on sale yet. So please bear with me. I am figuring that out, but as soon as they get up, they will be on the website as well. We're just trying to figure out how to do the payment option since I don't have a payment processing system yet and all the things. So
Gotcha.
I'm working with a couple people to figure that out.
Okay. And then also, it's a little bit early for that. People don't usually start thinking about that, especially, school will be starting and all that. So it's okay. You got a little time.
I'm that person that has to have it done and ahead of time so that the last minute, when
Right.
everything goes wrong, it's like, okay, I got time because everything else is done.
Oh, I hear you. I totally hear you.
Yeah.
So, how can people connect with you? How can they find you?
I mean, you can go to Facebook. I have a World of Hearts Facebook page. I'm on TikTok, or yeah, I am somewhat on TikTok. I'm trying to get better at that. I do Instagram, and then of course my website. So,
And what's the website?
World of Hearts LLC.org.
Okay. And do you have an email address or a phone number
Oh,
that for
just
people?
melissa.bull78 at yahoo.com. And then my number is 719-360-3827. They can contact me through text message, calling, Facebook, however you like to reach out.
Okay. And is there anything you'd like to add that we might have missed in our amazing conversation? So,
I think we covered quite a bit. So, I really I don't know. I don't think there is anything. I just really, as much as I'm getting out there, I'm just loving talking to everybody and seeing the smiles, whether it's a nonprofit. When I say what I'm doing, they're like, "Oh, here's my card. Can I go on your website?" Yes, you sure can. Like I'm good with that. I'll add you as soon as I can. And sometimes it's just a conversation that way, and then later down the road, like again, I'm learning. So I'm learning how to build all the pages. I'm learning how to put ads and all the things on. So
yeah,
that's when I say, bear with the process. It's coming.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
I got it. Well, and there you go. And that's the power of purpose. So this has been Mel Gorsuch. And Mel, thank you so much for reminding us that one person with a huge heart can truly make a wave of change in our community.
Thank you so much for having me on and just chit chatting. I do always love chit chatting with you.
Yes, and me too. And to follow Mel's journey and support the incredible nonprofit she champions, please visit her website at worldofheartsllc.org. And I'm Sandy Zuniga, the founder of Colorado Springs Town Tidings. For more stories that celebrates the people making our city special, subscribe for free at cos.towntidings.com. And also check out our YouTube channel. And I'll see you next week for another inspiring local business.